Welcome back to the channel. Steve Martin here, and the 2025 Ski-Doo spring orders are due very soon. So today I'm going to take you through the deep snow segment and help you make a decision. Alright, so I have my computer open right here. So we're just going to scroll down, and here it is, spring only. So in the past, the sleds have been set up good, better, best. And I'd say the Adrenaline is good. The Adrenaline with Edge package is better. And those two sleds you're going to be able to find in your dealers next fall. Those are in-store models, meaning that they can order as many as they want, set them on the floor, and you can go purchase them. Now the Summit X, the Summit X with Expert package, and the Freeride are spring only. So let's start with the Summit X. One really cool thing this year is both the Summit X and the Summit X with Expert package are both available in the three colors. There's Timeless Black, there's the Navy Blue, and this Catalyst Gray color. But you can get them in both models, so we're not buying snowmobiles on color anymore. So the Summit X, it has a lighter front ski shock this year. It's about a pound lighter between the two. Physically lighter spring, same spring rate, and it has T-motion, a flex edge track. This is like the best all-around snowmobile, I feel, in the deep snow lineup. It's going to be the easiest one to ride. It has a DS3 ski, which is a lot easier, less aggressive than that DS4. And this doesn't mean that you're not a good rider. In fact, Tony Jenkins prefers his Summit X. Carl Kuster, this is his favorite snowmobile, Summit X, probably the best mountain rider I've ever rode with. So if you're into the big adventures, really long days on the seat or on the sled, this is going to be, I think, your snowmobile. It's still going to be able to ride. You're going to be able to ride this in technical terrain, but it has T-motion. It has that flex edge track. The DS3 ski still has a 34-inch ski stance. So this thing's going to side hill really easy, but it's going to be by far the easiest one to put on a side hill and going to wear you out by far the least. So pretty cool. New for 25. They all get that new master cylinder that we had on the Expert last year, and that gives quite a bit more room on the bars. And that seems like a small change, but really big for me. I like being able to run the brake handle with one finger, and I cover the brake at all times, meaning I have my finger on the brake lever, so that's a huge change for me. And it comes with the little seat like the Expert. So biggest differences: T-motion, flex edge track, DS3 ski, and softer shock valving. Still extremely capable snowmobile, of course available with a Turbo R or naturally aspirated, just depending on what you want to do with it. So we'll move on to the Summit X with Expert package. Again, this one available in black, navy blue, or the gray. They all look great in person. Personally, that navy blue is probably the coolest looking one I've seen in person. Really exciting change for 2025. Comes with the Pro 36 adjustable front ski shocks, the EA3s, easy adjust, 3-position, piggyback reservoir, meaning we have more capacity, less resistant to fading, and we have external compression adjusting. And it is a little stiffer suspension valving than the Summit X. The T-motion XT rigid rear arm and the full rod track, and the DS4 ski. This is a really aggressive snowmobile. Takes a lot of effort to ride it compared to a Summit X, but it's really rewarding. So if you're riding the majority of your day in really tight, really technical, high consequence terrain, side hilling over logs, really steep, above open water, this is the one that's going to be the most rewarding. If you're carrying a lot of speed, this one's going to allow you to be more precise. I've been side hilling this year wide open and hit a little bump in the snow, and the sled came up right off the ground, and then the ridge kind of turned away from me, and I just kind of tapped it with the track. And I'm riding a Freeride, so it's that 15-inch wide track and the T-motion XT rigid rear arm, and so I'm carrying lots of ground speed. The snowmobile's wide open, and I'm basically in a wheelie in the side hill. Sled comes off the ground, I tap it, and I'm able to land back in a controlled side hill. So that's the kind of riding I think the expert in the Freeride you're looking for. And if you're not doing the majority of it, I think the Summit X is going to be a more comfortable ride. My dad rides a Summit X. I ride either an expert or a Freeride. I've been riding my Freeride every day this year. We go the same places, but I'm riding a little bit different than he is. You know, my throttle is more of an on-off switch. He's more controlled. I think if you're a smoother rider, even if you're really advanced, the Summit X you might enjoy that more. So again, for 25, well, 24 got the new brake reservoir, but for 25, this has a new upper A-arm and those Pro 36 EA3 shocks. So that upper A-arm is just to clear the reservoir because it has that 34-inch front end. And other than that, awesome colors. And yeah, I think that's it. So let's move on to the Freeride. I've put on a few thousand miles on the 24 platform so far, and I'm really enjoying it. I have to get click back here. Here we are, the 2025 Freeride. So the big change for 2025 is the rack steering system. You'll find that in their performance trail sleds, and you know, more notably their RS 600 snowcross sled. What this allows it to do is it moves the it moves the tie rod out further from the pivoting point and allows it to be parallel with a lower A-arm. So as it's going through the travel, it's reducing or eliminating bump steer. And when you're really like running in hard to a jump, and I'll put a video on here, hopefully I can find one in the right aspect ratio. But if you're really charging into a jump and it starts getting moved out like a snowcross sled, I don't want any feedback in the bars. I don't want any bumps here darting it one way or another, and super heavy landings. If you're coming 30, 40 feet out of the air and landing really heavy, I want the skis to stay straight, or at least do exactly what I'm inputting from the handlebars. So that's a really cool change. I didn't see that coming. So it is a tiny bit of a weight penalty, but I think this thing is a heavy duty jump machine. So if you're hitting huge drops, huge jumps, throwing whips, and you're spending most of your day doing that, for sure, Freeride is it. It has a 36-inch front end. So I've seen a few guys on the internet asking, how do I make my Freeride side hill better? Bruh. Well, it will side hill. I side hill mine all the time, and I don't really realize what I'm missing until I jump on someone's Summit X or their expert with a 34-inch front end. But if that's something you're searching for, then I think a Summit X or the Summit with Expert package would be the correct snowmobile. The 34-inch front end, those things side hill really well. This thing takes a little bit more effort, but it's more set up to jump, hit big bumps, and big drops for sure. So it has a 15-inch wide track, and I think that comes in handy in the spring snow, and like what I was talking about earlier, side hilling. If you're coming off the ground and have to re-engage a side hill at high speed and high technical terrain, that's going to offer the most control. But there is a sacrifice. We lose a little bit of flotation. I ride a 146 with a 2.5. I rode it deep days. It did great, but I'm carrying a ton of ground speed. I'm wide open everywhere. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. At this point, I've replaced every piece of Tupperware on that thing because I've hit a couple trees, but it's been worth it. Super fun. I'm ordering the same thing next year. I'm going to ride another 146 Freeride because it is super fun. They are a little tricky to get used to because you have to carry a lot of momentum and take a big penalty for that short track with low lug height at a dead stop in deep snow. So I'm back to thinking about where I'm parking, especially on deep days. But I can lead through the trees, no problem on this sled, but it is a lot of snowmobile. That the shocks are 25% stiffer than an expert, has a 36-inch front end, and it has DS4 skis, an aggressive spindle. It's a very aggressive snowmobile, but it's very rewarding. I went out yesterday and literally hit like 15 or 20 different jumps, tons of times. There were 3 of us running the same jumps, and the faces get super bumpy like snowcross, and this thing was eating it up. And mine is bone stock. It's the most impressive stock snowmobile I've ever had. and most impressive sled I've ever had for sure, because 180 horsepower, all this suspension, and I really like the 146 because it feels like a snowcross sled to me. So I guess just to recap, don't think of the Freeride, the Summit X, and the Summit X with Expert package as one better than the other. They're all the same, just they gave us these three vehicles so you can really find one that suits your riding style the best. So Summit X, it's the most playful, most agile mountain sled for sure. The Summit X with Expert package is the most precise technical machine. So if you're, again, high consequence technical terrain, the Expert's for you for sure. And Freeride, if you're hitting big jumps and throwing whips, then that's your sled. And another thing, I did a cool podcast with Snow West Magazine with Ryan Harris and Carl Kuster. That's available on YouTube, so check that out. Do some research because your orders are coming up soon. So I hope this was helpful. Drop a comment below and subscribe for more.